You know, there's a couple of good signs that I've noticed that will be happening, positive signs, if you will, for the WWE, that will be happening in the next, well, basically this summer. One is happening very soon. As a matter of fact, happening as soon as this weekend and going into next week, and that's the return of the World Heavyweight Champion Dolph Ziggler to action. Now, Dolph, of course, as we all know, has been out with a concussion, and obviously he's been cleared enough to compete once again. However, I'm sure WWE will limit him on what he can and cannot do in that ring. Second of all, last night we saw the first vignette promo for the Wyatt family. That's right, the Wyatt family. You know, Bray Wyatt, formerly Husky Harris, Luke Harper, and I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. I know it's Roman or something. And they are currently the WWE NXT Tag Team Champions. Well, basically the Tag Team Champions of NXT. Well, now, the first vignette appeared last night. And it seems they'll be called up very soon. Now, this, to me, creates a positive and interesting and unique scenario. Because obviously what you'll have here in the Wyatt family is a very unpredictable and very unknown trio, who, at the same time, will be on the same main roster along with another trio that's known for its chaotic nature, its unpredictability as well. Now, you might wonder, well, why do I mention this? Well, it's because it's very, very simple. You have a trio here, and you have a trio here. Now, we're pretty certain that the WWE is going to put the Shield against Kane and The Undertaker, and maybe Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. We're not too sure on that just yet. But the feeling that I'm getting out of this, out of last night's vignette promo, is the Shield's going to have more than just the tag teams going after Reigns and Rollins for the titles, or the tag titles. They're going to have more on their plate. And what I mean by more is they're going to have the Wyatt family. And don't think for one instant WWE's not going to say, hey, Wyatt family, Shield. Bingo! And I'm not talking faction either. I'm talking Wyatt family versus the Shield. Who's the more dominant faction? Who's the more dominant trio? And you know what this also tells me? If they'll bring in the Wyatt family, then that means one thing. The Shield, as hot as they are right now, as good as they are, could be reaching their end. Now, I'm not saying that's for certain. I'm not saying that's for certain, but I just get this distinct feeling that you're bringing in basically a team consisting of a second or third generation star in Bray Wyatt, formerly Husky Harris, or William Rotundo, whatever you want to call him. You're bringing in a guy that primarily competed in Japan for Pro Wrestling Noah, and Rowan, alongside them, and you're bringing in somebody that's competed all over, if you will. He's competed in Japan, he's competed in Ring of Honor, Chikara, Dragon Gate, Evolve, Jersey JAPW, and most notably, as far as I know, CZW. Where, if I recall correctly, one of the main event matches of CZW a few years ago was this man, Brody Lee, versus a guy that's right now holding the U.S. title. And that would be Dean Ambrose, back then known as Jon Moxley, back then when he was the CZW World Heavyweight Champion. So, basically bringing in a group that's like this, knowing people are going to know who some of them are, knowing that the internet fan base, the IWC, has been waiting for this trio. Now the question is, how do you bring him in? Do you bring him in as you have him in NXT? Or do you bring him in as the baby faces that act like heels? Think about it. What would be the best way to bring these guys in? No one really knows. But I can say this. You got potential 6-man tag team matches down the line that's going to draw. You want to give the Shield competition, you just did. And you want to give the fans, a choice to make, you just did. So yeah, that to me is another positive. The third positive, even though it's a little sooner than we'd like to expect, the other possible positive for the summer is Big E face turn. Now we all know Big E's sort of a face in NXT. But we also know, basically he's a face in NXT, so we pretty much knew he was going to go that direction anyway. Because when you look at him, you don't just see a big enforcer and a guy that literally for his size and everything can do what he does. But when you look at him, you look at a guy that's like, you know what, I don't really see a heel. I see more of a baby face. And initially that's what you get. Now you might say, well, why are they doing this now? Well, one, apparently, which is a negative, I will put, I guess in the eyes of WWE, is Mark Henry is taking some time off due to an injury that reportedly doesn't need surgery. Or something. Now, what this does, basically, because of this, and the fact that WWE officials are not happy about it, this accelerates the face turn of Big E Langston. And I think we pretty much knew this was coming as soon as he beat Del Rio last week on Raw. Yeah, he beats Del Rio. Del Rio beats him on main event, and then he loses on Raw last night. But we pretty much knew this was coming because if you're going to beat the #1 contender for the World Championship in the middle of the ring, distraction or not, that basically makes you the next in line for the World Heavyweight Championship match. So what does this tell us? Well, this basically tells us if we don't get Big E and Mark Henry for SummerSlam, or Money in the Bank or whatever, guess who we're going to get? That's right. Big E versus Dolph Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's what we're getting. If we don't get anything else, that's what we're getting. Now, one last positive, and some of you may think I'm stretching it a little bit with here, but the other positive for the summer is the whole AJ Caitlyn deal. Now we know AJ is going to get a title shot down the line. We just don't know when. I think the soonest that we're going to get it is going to be Payback will be the soonest. But how are we going to get it? How long is the match going to be? Is it going to be good? To me, the build-up right now is good. True, it wasn't focused on last night, but the build-up's still there. They mentioned the fact that AJ's the #1 contender, so the build-up's there. And you have legit history. So this obviously is something good for the Divas division. But now the question is, when the match takes place, possibly at Payback or whenever, will they pull the trigger, put the belt on AJ like they were planning to in the first place? Or are they going to keep it on Caitlyn and then maybe start a Caitlyn, because I see this coming, either a Caitlyn-Natalya program or a Caitlyn-Summer Rae program. I mean, just saying. They're giving Summer Rae more camera time, and they're giving her more camera time and more focus focus lately, so I wouldn't be surprised by it. I would not be surprised. Now, there are two other honorable mentions when it comes to positives as well. One, apparently, is the return of CM Punk, which I know a lot of fans are going to be happy about at Payback. And then, of course, another positive is possibly Fandango becoming the Intercontinental Champion at Payback, because apparently that match is in the works. And it's not just any match, it's a triple threat match. But the question is, will both those honorable mentions outdo the positives that I just mentioned? So, to me, those are initially 4, well, let's say maybe 6 positive things for WWE. The top 6 positives, the top 6 summer positive, I don't know, it's going to be something like, to me, this is going to be WWE's top 6 summer positives, so positives of summer. That's what it's going to be. The top 6 positives of summer, or summer positives. Because basically, if they work things out correctly, and probably go in some of the directions that I talked about, we may have a good summer, and hey, if they don't, we may have a neutral summer. We might have a lukewarm summer. But I'm hoping they really capitalize on these positives. So, let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Oh, and one last positive. I know that's coming for the Divas division. So we'll say the top 7. Number 7, I'm not going to forget about this. Paige. Paige is coming. She is coming in the summer. She's coming in the next few months. I know that. So they'll make it the top 7. And she's going to bring some spark to that division. So we'll call it the top 7. How's that? The top 7 positives. The top summer positives for WWE. So, let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I'll talk to you all later. But I'm hoping they really make this a positive summer with what I've just talked about. And if you agree, let me know down below. I'll talk to you all later.